Welcome to the SImple Sophisticate podcast, where intelligent living is paired with signature style. I'm your host, Shannon Ables, and whether you're listening on your commute, exercising, working in the garden, or sitting down with a hot cup of tea or a cafe au lait, thank you for tuning in. Let's get started. It seems crazy to think that 2015 is less than 2 weeks away. And that means whether you want to set a New Year's resolution or not, people are talking about it. And to be honest, whenever there's an opportunity to turn a page, start a new chapter in our lives, there's some kind of promise in that. There's some kind of opportunity in that. And to ignore that, I think would be akin to looking at gift horse in the mouth. Why not is my attitude. Why not try to improve our lives? Not only just for ourselves, but for our family, for our relationships, for the community, for the world. Whatever it is that you wish to improve, why not take this opportunity with the arrival of a new year? Now, some people may set their goals at different times in the year, maybe on their birthday, maybe if they are a student or a professor or a teacher, start a list of goals at the beginning of the school year. But why not, if nothing else, assess how you're doing and adjust as necessary? So in today's final broadcast of 2014, I want to offer you 15 ideas to create a promising 2015. Now, I don't expect you to implement all 15 of these. These are just ideas. And if we could just grasp onto three of them, and dive in deep to each of them, we will give ourselves the opportunity to be successful as 2015 comes to an end. In fact, last week, if you were reading the blog, I talked about how 2014's resolutions went for myself. And I encouraged readers to share their 2014 experiences. And it was wonderful. I loved hearing the successes, the struggles, but they each, no matter what the end of 2014 brought, if you read them, you'll find that each reader offered this optimistic attitude as they stepped into the new year, as if they had learned something from 2014, whether it was from a struggle or a success. They learned how to go forward better into 2015. And I think that's the goal. That's the goal. Each year we should come out a little wiser, come out a little bit more experienced, so that we don't make the same mistakes twice, that we see that we can grow no matter whether it's a positive or a negative experience in the moment. And I think that's a wonderful way of looking at life. It's very hopeful, and it's ultimately going to reap the most amazing benefits. So today I'm going to share 15 ways or ideas to give you that opportunity to create an auspicious start to 2015. And number one is going to begin with simply assessing 2014. How I like to assess is to go back through my journal. And I always have a small little moleskin journal. In fact, the one I have now is on its last few pages, and it's on my grocery shopping list to go get one before the new year begins. But this is a great opportunity to go back over the resolutions you set over the year, or simply go back through your journal and see what you've accomplished. And I think it's a good idea, at least this is what I have done for myself, to make a list of what the last year reaped. And try to look at it from a more optimistic slant. And what I mean by that is, even with your struggles, what did you learn from it? What did you learn from it? And then definitely write down your successes. See how much you've grown. And I think you'll be amazed. At what you've accomplished. But by going through everything, even the struggles, you'll be able to then set your resolutions appropriately for 2015. So maybe you had hoped to have been further along your journey towards your particular goal, and you're not. So ask yourself, why didn't that work out? Or why am I not making as much progress as I thought? This is the time for you to look at your habits. Which ones are helping you? Which ones are hindering you? What about your life is working? What about your life is not? And that may give you a roadmap as to how you want to go forward in writing down your resolutions for 2015. So number one is to assess what you accomplished in 2014. Number one. Number two is to perhaps find a resolution that ties into putting health at the top of your list for health's sake. So choose some kind of activity, some kind of new habit you're going to institute into your life that will improve your physical well-being, your mental well-being, something that will strengthen your overall health. Because ultimately, health, good health, is true wealth. And it's something that requires us to remain consistent in with small habits, simple habits, but in the long run, they reap huge benefits, huge benefits. And the beauty of setting a health goal or resolution instead of a superficial goal to fit into certain genes or whatnot is that ultimately that superficial goal usually is attained. And the hardcore goal of improving, whether it's our flexibility or improving our state of mind or our ability to master our mind, our overall life improves, our attitude improves, our relationships improve. So this year, when you sit down to make a health resolution, consider making one that deals with hardcore internal improvements. And I think you'll be amazed that they will reap multiple benefits that you hadn't expected, but ultimately you may have put down in the past. But this one will reap more of a quality benefit for your overall well-being. And I think that's an amazing accomplishment. Not easy to do, but an amazing accomplishment. When you look back, you'll be like, I am so glad I focused on the internal rather than the external. All right, number 3 perhaps could be learn something new. And while you probably will want to learn more than just one thing new that you didn't know before, at least try to learn one thing that you did not know in 2014 and wish to know in 2015. Could be anything. It could be something with regards to an academic pursuit, or it could be some kind of athletic pursuit. Or what about learning how to improve a relationship or improve your knowledge on a particular topic at work? I don't know what you want to try to learn this new. And maybe you don't even know right now. Maybe your travels will determine what you're going to learn this new, some aspect of a culture or a new language. But put it out there. Try to challenge yourself, and we'll get to that part in another one of our ideas, but try to make sure you learn something new in 2015. All right, number 4, and this is one of the things that my readers in their comments last week shared with me, and it's to let it go. We've talked about this in earlier podcasts, but I think this is huge for 2015 or any year, is while you may set some resolutions, set them, have an intention, but then be open to what may unfold. And I think you'll be amazed at the magic that can occur when we don't strangle the results. So number 4, let it go. All right. Number 5, perhaps you want to focus more on your relationships, any aspect of relationships. And as we went over in an earlier podcast, how to create healthy relationships, this is something that perhaps you want to assess with number 1, assess what went well with relationships that you're involved in, and then determine how you can improve and make that one of your worthwhile pursuits. One of the quotes I recently came across, and I was reading an article that was interviewing Susie Orman, the financial guru that we hear so much about. She simply shared her priorities for life, and there was 3 of them, and they were very simple. Number 1 priority in her life are her relationships. Number 2 should be your finances. And number 3 should be things. In other words, things should be last. Relationships be paramount. And keeping a sound financial structure, number 2. So if your relationships are strong, continue to foster them. And if they could use some improvement, if you could grow as an individual in your relationship, learn how to communicate better, learn how to be more forgiving, learn how to choose people that are healthy components or healthy partners, dive into that. That's number 5. Strengthen relationships. Number 6 is to, and I want to challenge myself on this one. This is one I've been contemplating for a while. Change your relationship with technology. In other words, allow technology to be a tool that improves your life rather than a crutch that hinders your life. And what I mean by this, and this kind of ties in with number 5 in growing relationships or strengthening relationships. Yes, technology and smartphones are fantastic for staying in touch with people that we may not have been able to stay in touch with in the past. But if we don't go beyond just the contact that phone provides, that simple text message, but we never talk face to face and dive deeper, or if we only do Facebook to see how everyone's doing and what they're doing, but we never really dive deeper and develop a relationship with the people that we want to keep up with, or just want to keep up with in a competitive sense, we're really not helping ourselves out. So allow technology to be the tool that can connect you, but then do the necessary work outside of technology, the time together, person to person, the conversations face to face, the experiences rather than the Facebook showmanship. Use it as a tool. Don't use it as a crutch. Yes, it does make life easier, but if we make it easier and don't improve the quality of our lives, it's really not helping us at all. So number 6, change your relationship with technology. Number 7, eliminate one bad habit. Now, based on if you chose number 1, if you chose to go back and assess what happened for you in 2014, you probably were able to point out some habits that kind of got in the way or did not help you improve the quality of your life. Just choose one of those habits, one habit, and vow to yourself to figure out how to effectively break that bad habit. And I actually have a post that I wrote last year on this because that was one of my resolutions last year. I chose to eliminate the amount of television in my life, the actual boxes or screens themselves, and the time I spent in front of them. And it was one of my successes. I didn't make all of my resolutions come true, but this one actually did occur. I didn't eliminate it altogether, television, but I definitely decreased it. So I will share a link to that particular post about how to break a bad habit. That's number 7. All right, number 8 is to improve your financial situation. Whether you are rocking it, you have money in your 401k, you've got a personal savings account for that vacation, or maybe you're just barely scraping by, wherever you are financially, set one financial goal and stick to it. Stick to it. Every year there's something I can improve with my finances, every single year. And I love that I have time with my holiday vacation at the end of the year to really sit down and get a grip on what's working and what isn't. Because I love starting off January in a clean slate with a brand new budget that is streamlined and tied to exactly what I need my life to be. And I will share with you that Excel budget sheet, and you can kind of tweak it for yourself as you'd like. But pick one thing. Maybe it's just simply increasing the amount of money you're deducting from your monthly paycheck for your retirement account. Maybe you're just going to up at $50 from what it used to be. Maybe you're going to up at $5. It doesn't matter. Whatever you do to increase it, do it. Do something to improve your financial situation. All right, so we've gone through the first 8 of the 15 ideas to create a promising 2015. I'm going to take a 1-minute intermission, and I will see you on the other side. Welcome back. We have just talked about the 8 ideas for creating a promising 2015. We have 7 more to get to. Hopefully you've heard a few that you might consider putting on your resolutions for the new year, but maybe you haven't. Maybe you're still waiting for a few more to tickle your fancy. So hopefully these remaining 7 will do just that. All right, number 9 is to add one routine or cultivate one habit that reduces your stress. And stick to it. In other words, make it a habit. Now, the only way to know what stresses you out is to assess your last year, 2014. Maybe this is so easy you can immediately list off some activities or responsibilities or something about your schedule that just stresses you out. But if you don't, take that time to assess on which days do you feel productive and fulfilled at the end of the day when you go to bed at night. And then on which days do you feel completely harried, you end up having unnecessary arguments and fitful night sleeps. Analyze those particular days, see how they differ, and that may determine or help you determine what are your stress triggers. So once you've figured out your stress triggers, then figure out a way to reduce them, even just one. Now, one thing that I'm considering, or I actually have started to do, but I want to do more regularly, I want to turn it into more of a habit, is to meditate. And so one of my to-do lists this holiday break and into the new year is to read a book called 10% Happier by Dan Harris. The book has already become a bestseller. He actually was able to see a significant increase in his happiness by simply adding regular meditation to his day. And this is someone who was a news journalist who was traveling around the world, and he basically had a breakdown, and he decided to go to meditation. And in doing so regularly, starting with just 5 minutes a day, and now I think he has increased it to about 30 to 40 minutes a day, he's seen an immediate difference in so many different areas of his life. So that may be one habit you might want to consider for reducing your stress, or maybe it's just simply saying no to one or two responsibilities that are not adding to the quality of your life and are actually hindering you being able to be your best self. Whatever it is, choose one habit to reduce your stress. That's number 9. Number 10, focus on kindness. Focus on kindness. Even when it could be easier to do and even acceptable to not be kind, choose kindness. Foster kindness. Whether it's a random act of kindness, whether it's a thoughtful gesture that a friend doesn't expect, but when you do it, it lights up their day. It lights up that moment. Maybe it'll light up, who knows how much of a positive effect it'll have. Focus on kindness. And it's easy to, I get into this trap a lot. It's easy to get busy and forget, and it's nothing malicious. We just get busy with our lives. Just doing something so simple as remembering your best friend's big speech on that day, and you may not even live in the same town, and you send them a good luck card, or even just a good luck text right before they go on, just to remind them, hey, I'm thinking of you, you're going to rock it. Anything that just spreads more kindness. We don't have enough in this world. We could never have enough. Make it genuine, make it sincere. It doesn't have to be big and grand and extravagant. Just spread more kindness. Spread more kindness. All right, that's number 10. Number 11, this is a biggie, I think, for improving so many areas of our lives, and that's to improve the quality of our sleep time. Now, there are so many things you can add, but I think just creating a routine and of how you unwind at night. It may be having a lavender candle that you light prior to going to sleep. Maybe you ensure that you do a little meditation before bed, or maybe you write in your gratitude journal. Maybe you make sure that you are reading at night. Whatever it is. How about this? Ooh, this is one of my favorites, and I talked about this in the fall with regards to creating a sanctuary, is to get really nice down pillows to sleep on. Hey, even put on silk pillowcases. Oh my goodness, that is just so nice to lay your head down against each night. Maybe invest in extraordinary linens, the best you can afford. Make your sleep time the best time of the day. And if that's saying a lot if your life is going absolutely amazing. But what that does is improve the quality of your next day. It improves your health, it reduces your stress, and it allows you to be at your best self the next day. So number 11, maybe put for your resolutions, improve your quality of sleep. Number 12, is to make sure you travel someplace new, or if you're traveling to the same place, explore something new at that destination. As I mentioned in an earlier idea in today's podcast, is to learn something new. Maybe on your travels, you will discover what you want to learn that you didn't know before. But try to get somewhere at least once that you've either never been before, or explore something that you've never done or never explored before. That's number 12. Number 13 is to be, this is going to sound a little cheesy, but resolve to be the sunshine in your own life. Resolve to be that person who, when you open the door, people are thrilled that you're there. You're going to bring some optimism. Whether you're really extroverted and you're the life of the party, or even if you're really quiet, you bring an energy that's comforting, that's safe, that's genuine, that's a pleasure to be around. And so not only are you going to be that for other people, make sure it's sincere, obviously, but be that way for your own self, for your own life. When things get tough, don't turn to negative self-talk. Refuse to do that. It's easy how we do that. And we do that so easily. I have to work on that myself. But refuse to be Debbie Downer and resolve to be the sunshine in your own life. Because you can be the best cheerleader for yourself, or you can be the biggest critic. And being a critic, while we always have to be learning, doesn't necessarily help us when we're trying to build ourselves up and move forward. Number 13. Number 14 is to purge and organize. Maybe your goal is to get rid of the unnecessary anything in your life. Things, bad relationships, negative thinking, and then organize. I recently recommended a book on this and that is an international bestseller, and I've had a handful of readers say that it's an absolute worth buying book. It's called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. Just came out in October, and it is doing absolutely amazing with readers. So something that could help bring a new approach to organizing your home and your life. I'll have a link for it on the show notes today. And number 15 is to read more. To read more. This could be, if you're a news aficionado, reading more opinion pages, reading more staying abreast of your current events. Maybe you are a fiction lover. Pick up another fiction novel that you're curious about. Maybe you're going to challenge yourself to read outside your type. You're going to read more nonfiction. Whatever it is, challenge yourself to read even more. To make time for this. You'll be amazed at the ideas that bounce around your head and the imagination that will grow because of what you know. You'll be also impressed with the conversations you can then pick up or start at the drop of a hat simply because of the current events that you're staying apprised of. Read more. Number 15. And guys, I am adding an extra bonus idea for creating a promising 2015. So technically it's number 16, or we can just call it a bonus because the title of the podcast is still 15 ideas for a promising 2015. Hey, it works, right? 15. But number 6, or the bonus, is to do something to help the planet, to help the world. However you want to look at it. It could be with regards to how you interact with people. It could be with regards to improving our environment, just not using plastic bags. It could be a variety of things. But why not, if you're still stuck on what to put for your resolutions, create a simple habit that not only helps you in your life, but helps your niece and nephew, your children, the next generation, and the world right now. The oceans, the animals, whatever. Look at it as paying it forward. Number 16, do something to help the planet. Hopefully you have heard at least 3 ideas for generating resolutions for 2015 to make sure that it becomes an even better year than you could have even imagined. If you want any of the show notes that we've talked about today, or you see the list and print it off for yourself, go to the blog, www.thesimplyluxuriouslife.com/podcast18, and you'll see everything we've talked about, the books, the links, the previous blog posts, everything we've talked about. Now, stay tuned. We are still in the middle of holiday season with only 3 days to go before Christmas, and I have something you might be interested in. I'll see you on the other side for this week's Petit Plaisir. All right, so this week's Petit Plaisir is the second annual Simply Luxurious holiday playlist. Last year, I pulled together a compilation of classic songs, and I will share that link on today's show notes as well. But this year, I decided to pull together a few more pop songs, brand new music from albums that just came out this fall, as well as some classic pop music that I did not include on the previous list that I think you're going to hear. You're like, oh yeah, that should have definitely been on the list last year. A few names you may recognize: Paul McCartney's Wonderful Christmas Time, classic Christmas song, but you gotta have it on your playlist, right? But then Sam Smith came out with a song, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, that only Sam Smith can do. Ariana Grande came out with a song as well, completely an original. And then we have Leona Lewis's One More Sleep. One song I want to bring to your attention really quickly is the reissuing of Do They Know It's Christmas, which was originally done by Band-Aid back in 1984. Well, they redid it this fall for the Ebola crisis in a way to raise money. You will no doubt recognize these contemporary artists such as Ed Sheeran or Sam Smith, Ellie Goulding, Coldplay, U2, all sorts of new singers as well as some well-known, currently very successful singers get on this album or this song and just do a wonderful job. So that will be on the playlist as well. So go ahead and download individually or download the entire playlist. It's completely up to you. But I will be playing it at my holiday party here on Tuesday. Maybe you will be as well. I hope you've enjoyed this week's Petit Plaisir, where each week ideas are shared to make the everyday all the more enjoyable. Tune in at the end of each Monday's podcast, where I'll recommend a book, a film, a recipe, or from time to time introduce you to an expert who offers insight into how to live simply luxuriously. Anything that is a simple pleasure to satiate your sophisticated taste. Now, quickly on a business note, as I mentioned at the top of the podcast, this will be the last podcast of 2014, and the next episode will air Monday, January 5th, 2015. I do hope you'll join me in this auspicious new year. Thank you for tuning in to this year's 2014 inaugural podcast. And if you want any of the show notes from today's podcast, go ahead and stop by the blog, www.thesimplyluxuriouslife.com/podcast18. Have a wonderful end of the year, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the SImple Sophisticate podcast, where intelligent living is paired with signature style. For more ideas and inspiration throughout the week, stop by the blog, thesimplyluxuriouslife.com, or pick up the book, Choosing the Simply Luxurious Life, A Modern Woman's Guide. Until next Monday, I'm your host, Shannon Ables. Bonjour!